Three, two, one. We're live. Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How you doing?
I'm alive.
I'm kicking.
Yeah. Didn't you went to Vegas?
Yeah,
How was that? You're back in one piece?
yeah. I thought we talked about this on last week, or was it
Oh,
last week?
yeah. My bad. You were
Yeah.
down there and you came back.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was good. Just to reiterate,
Has reality kicked in of Minnesota life?
I don't think it ever. I don't think it ever left. Um, Minnesota life's good though. I guess
Yeah.
outside of the Twin Cities, apparently. But
So I have some major updates. I don't know if you've been chiming in on some of my streams, but I'll share my screen. There's a couple things. So hit share and say hide. So I gave um I gave my landing page a facelift. So it's gone from a 12-year-old did it to now like a 14-year-old did it. All right. So here we go.
nice.
This right here, and there's a lot going on right here because I have all these services running, and I'm still
Oh,
trying to
geez.
bootstrap the the courier app. Okay.
You,
Yeah, this
you
thing
need to
is
switch to
crawling
a
right now.
bulky desktop.
This is a bulky laptop. I mean, like I literally have so many services running that I still have to just deploy to an Azure service once I figure out how to do that. I mean, I know how to deploy it, but I don't know how to attach the database or sync a database to the deployed service. Like, I know it's probably simple after I spend like 2 business days trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
So, okay, so the courier app just blanked out. What just happened there? Hold up. It says it's deploying still. Okay. So anyway, so this is my artistic ability. This is the facelift, rentals, kitchens, grocery, and smoke. Okay. And rentals, I think the highest selling item is probably going to be portable phone chargers. And then I bought two of these Soundcast VG7s outdoor speakers that are Bluetooth. And so you can actually pair two of these together to produce a stereo and stream from one phone. And supposedly these are really, really good. I know I paid a lot of money for it. Canopy, umbrella, all these are rentals, right? Hookah, cooler with ice in it, football, and cornhole. Okay.
Hmm.
And these are like the featured kitchens or whatever. You can always hit more to look at a list of kitchens. And then there's a grocery, right? So I think ice would sell and sunscreen, right?
Hmm.
And then smoke. So I filled out the majority of the form. I forgot to tell you, I'm applying for a tobacco license. So I was doing that like 2 o'clock in the morning last night. I have to get it notarized now before I submit it out to the state of Florida. And so hopefully, once they grant my license request, then I could buy from the wholesaler some vaping and some cigarettes and have a delivery service like deliver that to. I mean, it could probably be residential too, because I honestly believe I'm the only person down here in in Miami Beach that'll have the ability to and the technology to deliver tobacco to people's homes. Um, so wish me luck on my application.
Yeah, good luck on that. What so with the age verification with tobacco, what's the
Oh
plan on that?
man. So you want to, you heard of like cold katas, right?
Hmm.
An interesting exercise is to domain model the Florida code or law, the Florida regulations for tobacco. It is long and involved. So
I
like
can imagine.
it is long. So it's a lot of overhead. Um, just modeling the procedures or the policies that are required so that the state doesn't kick in your door and throw flashbangs and lock you up. It is like, I don't know if meticulous is the right term, but it's a lot of overhead. I don't know if this is. I thought I said Florida tobacco laws. Apparently, I have to put in 2021. I don't think this was the link I looked at earlier. Anyway, somewhere. Hold up for a second. Is it under my beach delivery? Do I have tobacco anywhere in here? Do you see tobacco in any of these? I don't
No.
see it. It is. It is long. That's the only thing I can say. Um, like it's just bullets upon nested bullets of procedures for selling. It's a lot of paperwork you have to file. I think like I don't even think it's once a month. I think it's like within 7 days of a sale. I think you have to like produce all these records, paperwork to cover everything that you've been doing and to make sure that you're in compliance with taxes. It is a lot, but I mean, I plan on implementing within the mobile app, uh, modeling all that into like a wizard. They still say wizards when it comes to like a workflow within the application.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's still a hip term or not. Back
I
in my
don't
day,
think
we used to call
it's.
them wizards.
Yeah, I don't think
Mm.
it's a like very
So,
hip to talk about it, but yeah, they're
so
still used.
when in regards to the courier uh, receiving an order for tobacco and then fulfilling it, I mean, there's a lot of things I plan on doing. Like one, capture their ID, their government ID. Two, capture their government ID being held next to their literal face as they're holding it, and then and then I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but one of the biggest things is making sure that you don't sell to a minor
Yeah,
and providing overwhelming evidence that you went above and beyond to not sell to a minor. Uh, but I mean, I'm applying for a mobile delivery license or a mobile delivery permit, which I was surprised to even see in there. They had an e-commerce permit and they had a mobile delivery permit, in which they want your VIN number of the vehicle that you're using.
wow.
So, what else did I want to say? I I added two new repos, one for inventory and another one for rental. So there's an inventory system and a rental system. They're like a quarter baked, both of them, but that's in order to manage the rental. Not even rental service. It's meant to complement the rental service, but just manage inventory in general, so that when people are placing orders, they should only be placing orders later on on items that are actually available. Now, I mean, I could probably have them place orders for items that I don't have in stock, and I'll just collect that information and use it for better management as well as a better marketing campaign. But the inventory and rental system, rentals or repos that I'm in the process of building is meant to tie into this customer app in regards to ordering. And in addition, I know I'm scatterbrained right now. There's a lot that I've been tackling. Is a, a GPS position whitelist. So you have these on the beach. You have these businesses that usually are established in front of hotels or tourist hotspots that rent out chairs and umbrellas. Um, my objective is to, and I think I mentioned this before, is to get their employees on my team, in which I chopped it up with one of them yesterday, and I said, hey, if you refer this mobile app to accommodate the people that are renting chairs and umbrellas from you, I I'll give you like a $2 commission on top of what you're making already in the current job that you're doing. So if you're making like, I don't know what you make, but if you're making like $15 an hour as an employee, well, your $2 commission, right, per sale, like, and you average like maybe three referrals that result in a in a transaction on my side, then you're adding like another like $6 on top of your hourly rate that they're paying you. And so, and don't worry, because even though like I'm renting out umbrellas and shade, I'm going to make sure that when the customers that you're attending to, they don't see it, because I'm going to go ahead and whitelist the products that are available to them based on their GPS location, meaning that I know where each of these booths are, including your booth. And so I'm just going to make sure that uh, within like a 30-yard radius, umbrellas aren't going to show up on the product offering for this app. So I'm not competing with you. I want both of us to win, right? And he said, "All right, cool." In addition to that, and feel free to interrupt me, but I think the GPS whitelist feature is going to be definitely what I need to get people on my team and to get people to push it for me. I also went to a souvenir shop, let them know what I was doing, and asked them if they provided rentals. First, I asked them if they provided rentals versus just selling, and then they're like, no. And I'm like, well, you know, would you be interested in me being a courier for you and basically renting out your equipment uh, or your products for people that are on the beach so that they don't have to leave their location? And so they say, yeah. They wanted my business card, but I don't have a business card that actually reflects this specific business. And so I feel like before I approach any more establishments, I need to get like these business cards with the QR codes that link to a demo video, like done. So, um,
Yeah, you'd probably want more than just a video, probably just a whole landing page or selling page with the features listed out and stuff like that.
yeah, I registered a Facebook business so that I could run ads on Instagram. So, I mean, like 90% of women, in which they make up probably, I would argue, 70% of the people on the beach down here, they literally surf Instagram the entire time they're there. And so the ad campaign is meant to target them. And hopefully, I have the precision of specifying the shoreline of the beach or the beach and nothing else, and they'll receive those ads for rentals or whatever, or those ads for just everything, just beach accommodation. So here's a slide that I threw together. It's yeah, I threw this together like 7 days ago. Uh,
Dang.
and this is like a demo video, but I did a recent facelift, so I got to do a new video. And then I started talking about the initial offerings or whatever. food, tobacco, rentals. Barriers to entry, and then initial markets that I want to tackle, and this whole, I don't know, beach partner vision. It's kind of like setting up a franchise in which different towns or cities that hug the Florida East Coast shoreline, they can basically maintain their own inventory, and get like more likely 60% of the proceeds that result from it, of them managing that area. And then I have my vision of rental costs. Um, I don't know, premium membership, IDK. I know it could be cool for business expenses, but I'm not sure if I could really sell it to that. And then the whole restaurant, food truck business model, 60 days free trial, and then charge them like $65 a month to keep them on there. Uh, and then stage two, which I'll, I later put in an appendix because they told me that I'm too scatterbrained. That was the feedback I got. Yeah, man. So like I'm on it, man.
Well,
I need you to trash me now. Tell me where I'm effing up at.
you're not, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
No, I don't think there's any wrong answer to doing this stuff until you find that it's naturally a wrong answer through work. So I can't give you any. I can, discuss or conjecture or whatever, but it's looking pretty good. The one thing the one thing that got me thinking though was, so you're with rentals, would you be renting them out?
Right
Or
now, right now, me just to figure out if this works.
I
Which
see.
I'm almost confident, dude, that this works. The great. I'll stop right there because you're asking me a question, so I'll let you continue.
Yes. Well, I'm just saying you're basically taking on becoming a retailer too, as part of this. Then
The vision
a retail
is
rental.
the
Yeah.
vision is to buy wholesale, and yeah, basically be a tobacco company. I basically want to be the the Sam's Club of the beach. That's what I want to be.
Yeah. 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 No, that makes sense. The next thing that came to mind though is then, one of the things with one of the things with this is you're gonna have to find couriers, and then you're gonna have to pay them commissions and stuff like that based on each sale.
Hey,
Have
Roman.
you have you thought about just building up an employee base instead?
Uh, I considered it. I mean, real talk. I get overwhelmed just thinking about how to scale, and so like it's the whole chicken and egg thing. I feel like one is, yeah, my biggest challenge is I don't know how to scale. And that's something I'm terrified of. And I'm sure that it's probably not that big of a deal. But my fear is, instead of me expecting to have like an average of 3 orders go through a day for the first week, my fear is I'll end up getting overwhelmed with like 30, and I'm not able to keep up with it. And then all of a sudden I have on my app rating, on the mobile app, when they rate it, they're going to rate the service and not the app, and that I'm just going to start building up a bad reputation. Now, how does this relate to your initial question of have I considered employees versus some type of like franchise model? Uh, I don't have. I don't think I have the money to pay W-2 employees right now. In addition to the compliance overhead with the federal government, I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I'm trying to be as lean. I'm not even sure I'm going to say I'm trying. I would like to be as lean as possible in doing this. And I mean, I'm open to any type of like advice. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to first get people to help me and incentivize them so that when orders come up, they can actually like drop what they're doing and fulfill those orders while I'm trying to build features and fix bugs and prepare or clean up the pitch deck when I do start soliciting for a co-founder. Notice I said co-founder and not a angel investor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Well, that's what I'm. Kind of along those lines. Like one of the hard problems I think you have here is that adding in rentals and stuff like that, you're now putting in multiple locations you might have to hit if you're allowed to purchase from more than one of these at a time, right? So if I want a phone charger, a hookah, thing from Denny's, and water, for instance, grocery water, like that might be hitting 2-3 stops.
Oh no 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 no! The kitchens are require hitting carriers. The grocery store initially, with emphasis on initially, will require making those stops. I've bought this charger. I've bought two of these Soundcast VG7 Bluetooth speakers
Yep.
or Bluetooth systems. I bought this canopy. I bought this umbrella. I bought this I bought this cooler. And I bought this cornhole. No, did I buy the cornhole? I don't know if I
No,
bought the
anyways,
cornhole
yeah.
or not. So right now, I'm going to have an inventory in my half bathroom. It's going to be stocked of inventory. So no. And right now, yeah, I bought all this stuff off of Amazon. But if people start like renting it, if I start seeing activity or transactions, then I'm going to Alibaba, which brings me to the second point. So, like for example, I'm sure these chargers are dirt cheap too, but this umbrella cost me um, like $60 on Amazon. Okay, this one right here. You see my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
On Alibaba, right? You're familiar with Alibaba.
Yeah.
You buy in bulk, and they usually come from China. This is $6. Okay, so get this. Remember when I was telling you, like probably 6 months ago or a year ago, how I have no clue how I'm going to like market this on the beach? Like I was talking about getting a boat with a huge LCD screen, and I was thinking about flying a kite. Like whatever I could do that's legal, that doesn't have the police shut me down or fine me. Like I was trying to figure that out, and I figured it out. You ready?
Yeah, you can put it on an umbrella.
I can put my logo exactly on these umbrellas and canopies. Really, pretty much everything that I rent out, I can put my logo on it.
Yeah.
I'll work with the supplier, and I mean, I already have my logo. It's almost done, right? But I'll work with the supplier, and I'll have them just like what they do on Amazon. I don't know if it's called what is it called, white labeling or whatever. I could do the same thing, and so exactly what you said with especially these umbrellas and maybe these canopies potentially, I could put my brand. Hence, the brand is like whatever the name is, and then I'll have the App Store icons on it, and I could just decal it, and that does it for me. As long as people are renting, or as long as I'm there chilling, it's people are seeing it. Especially when I have my two Soundcast VG7s rocking the whole beach. So I think this solves my problem, man. These umbrellas with the the logo branding.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Big
that's a good
logo
idea.
branding.
But that just kind of makes, well, at some point in time you hit what you can store in your apartment,
My half
and
bathroom.
yeah, and then people running in and out of your place, maybe your neighbors start getting pissed.
No, no,
Um,
no, 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 no. It's not going to work like that. So what I'm saying is, right now, it's just me and maybe one of my neighbors that claimed that he was going to help me. Because I gave him the pitch deck, and he appeared to be excited, and he said he wanted to support me. We'll see if that's true or not. But right now, it'll be just me and maybe like one or two of my neighbors, maybe. Um, and then like if that actually scales, or if we're like consistently receiving orders, then it's time to have a conversation about either a storage unit or renting out a a location, which I'm trying to avoid. I'll stop talking and I'll listen to your arguments or your advice.
well, it's not advice because I don't have any
Yeah,
practical knowledge on it, but it is just thoughts about, maybe a storefront or a location wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm just thinking about the like distribution problems that you're going to have, and
yeah.
that you might actually have better luck instead of trying to like find people that you're paying commissions for ad hoc, just to have a small set of employees that are willing to, you know, or that are set up to just curry. Uh,
The the a workaround, right? If I'm really thinking about Gorilla, is to just buy a van, or even like right now, just have a car with a trunk. Because right now I don't have a car. I'm pushing my three-wheel motorcycle right now. But I mean, if I get a vehicle, then theoretically I could just I could just fill that trunk and maybe the back seat with some tarp over it with product, and just pay the, I don't know, $3 parking per hour, and just be done with it, and just have it parked there.
yeah, like a food
I
truck
mean,
does.
that's a quick workaround.
Yeah, like a
It's
food truck does.
Yeah,
Then you just drive it away at night and
because I mean, what? Let's say it's maybe six. Yeah, let's say it's 6 hours of a business window of activity. Then 6 and 3 is what? That's, I'm sorry, I'm horrible. That's 18, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So $18 a day, um, for like South Beach, and then I mean I'm on the northern part of Miami Beach, so I could have my stuff here and step out the house and provide supplies. Which, to your point, yeah, the homeowners association where I live may not be happy about that. Um, but yeah, right now I think just taking up a parking spot and throwing some products inside the vehicle is a workaround compared to renting some brick and mortar in South Beach and paying $20,000 a month.
Yeah, I know. Not having it'd be much better probably to have like a van or something with the stuff in it, or a truck or whatever. But yeah, but then, like I said though, if you had people scheduled, you could set it up as a hub basically. So like, maybe you had people that would run out to restaurants or other locations to grab things, return to the hub, and then you have people that actually focus on getting it out to the beach. Um, and then you divvy up the transaction fee or the transactions.
That's an
But
idea. Let me repeat what you said. Have a hub or a centralized, like, command and control inside of a in a parked car or van,
yeah, a van, yeah,
kind of like a
for sure,
command
yeah.
center that the police have.
Hmm.
And when people order food, which right now it's not going to be chain restaurants. It looks like it's just going to be mom and pop restaurants because it costs too much to. It requires so much effort to to get access to their services. But returning back to the subject, that how does this work? The hub works for these rentals and these wholesale items, but it doesn't apply to kitchens, right?
Well, yeah, well, no, but sort of. I mean, if you had a hub there with it, and if you actually had employees manning it, so you talked about like these rental booths before, that do those kinds of things. You're just not stationary like they would be, I suppose. But I could imagine that you have an employees manning them. That you talked about the virtual assistant calling up. They could call and order the food, run out, get it quick, maybe pick up multiples at a time.
Yeah, that's too error prone though, man. The last thing I want to do is pay a courier and a restaurant just to have the customer reject it because it's not right. And it's going to happen. I would imagine if I'm doing like even if I'm doing even 20 orders, I guarantee it's going to happen at least once a day. It's too error prone.
Gotcha.
Let the restaurants get it wrong, right? The order, not some, I don't know, college dropouts, or I mean, I don't want to be mean, but people that are trying to fill this type of position, this type of gig, like no, I I can't risk that.
But you'd be risking it with couriers anyways, wouldn't you? I mean,
The couriers are picking up the orders. I don't. The thing is data entry, and data is important, right? And so data needs to be entered correctly. Let the restaurant that received the order, let their chef mess up the order so that I don't get penalized. The restaurant does, right? I still get my money
so you're
somehow,
gonna
some way.
have so with the courier thing, are you having the customers themselves enter the orders?
No, that's what I'm saying. This kitchens part,
Yeah.
like one of my entrepreneur or one of my startup friends that I talk to almost every day, he told me like, don't even entertain this. Just stick with the rentals, grocery,
Oh, yeah.
and smoke. He said because this is too complicated for what I'm trying to do right now, especially for an MVP. And I understand what he's saying, but what I want to do, what I want to do is I want, I don't even know what the right term is, but I want funnels. Maybe funnel is the right term, right? So when it comes to like marketing, I want funnels. So if someone's hungry, I want them to go into the app and then see the offerings and then do add-ons. So they originally wanted some chicken wings, right? But then they said, "Oh shoot, I could um I could get hookah too," or "Oh shoot, I could I could rent a football for $10 with my homies, with my frat brothers." Like, make a long story short, even though the dude is right that this is way too much overhead right now, it's too complicated to figure out how to get right, and it's too high risk. I feel that the majority of people, they want food, and in order for them, in order for I would argue 60% of people that access this app, if it's accessed at all, downloaded at all, discovered at all, I would imagine 60% of those people are hungry. And then they can see the offerings and tack on even more add-ons to line my pockets. That's the thought process. I mean, I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, no, I actually I think I agree with them. Because you can always add in food later, and start as a smaller rental. Probably, like the assumption is that people would go to this because they're hungry, specifically for restaurant food. But maybe just getting water and ice might be like, you don't know, that could be 90% of the business that you end up doing. It's just water and ice. Um,
else, maybe to your point, maybe the customers don't decide what they want. Maybe if they're hungry, I literally tell them, you're going, we sell these three types of meals
Oh
from
yeah.
this one restaurant, and you can't get that wrong, right? So there's no like ordering like from there's no ordering from a menu that has 50 different items in which half of those items have three different sides to choose from. No, maybe it's exactly like there is a Denny's Grand Slam that will come with wheat toast and orange juice. There's
Yep.
no swapping it out with Coca-Cola. There's no swapping out the toast for rye bread. No, it's going to be this specific order, and
Yeah.
so that would work.
Well, with a mobile command type thing too. What you could do is just set up right next to food trucks, register
Yeah.
in the food trucks that are in the immediate vicinity of you, um, and get those simple kind of like get one or two dishes per. Um, like literally, you have your employees or people that are whatever at your van. If they order food, you walk over to the food trucks that are in the vicinity. You get the food right there, and then grab the other items, and then off to the beach. Um,
That works. And
yeah,
also maybe have these food trucks actually hold some of this inventory
yeah,
as
maybe
as a partnership.
rent a space from them basically, or maybe
Well, if
or
they don't pay a
maybe
monthly subscription, then they they harbor these items
yeah,
for courier pickup.
or they're work with food trucks to be a network for it. Although they're probably mostly just going to be focused on their food, um, but you could, I mean, imagine having them be just these instead of having command truck, just having them fulfill it, and or sorry, having them store, and then your couriers and stuff just hang out and deliver from them. But yeah, no, I think there's a ton of ideas, but I think whoever you talk to is right that the kitchen and that whole relationship with couriers and stuff is going to be way more complicated than and your service can handle it. I mean, so adding it on once you get some of these other logistic things figured out is probably a good idea. But to start, I think like going in and doing this deal with the rentals and having wholesale items that you're going to able to drop off and stuff is going to simplify and at least get you into the market, right? Um,
Yeah.
and once you get your umbrellas out there, it's going to start going up. As far as your scaling problem, I mean, that would also kind of, I think, help with that because you could, if you did this mobile command thing, just set up a beacon or whatever, and do that thing and say, hey, this is where we deliver within a 5-minute radius of this spot, and then scale out. Then if people get the the app on the beach, you just say, hey, this isn't available right now. It's available here, here, and here. Um,
Well, I mean, they don't even have to. That's the whole GPS whitelist, right?
yeah,
Where it won't even show up
yeah,
unless I wanted to show up just to see what the market is wanting.
yeah. But you might, I mean, you might make it so that at least if nothing shows up for them, that they know why. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's because I'm out of range of the whatever. But then what you do is you just scale up by adding more vans along the beachfront as hubs. So you start with one in a densely area, get some people on the app, start delivering out ice and water and whatever, hookahs, whatever, footballs, stereos, whatever, out from there. And then you just add another van down the block 5 miles or whatever, and just keep going like that. With the rentals, what's the return? What's your thoughts on returns? How do they return it? Are they dropping it off with you, or are you picking it up?
The the thought process is to all right. So this rental system that I said, um, throw some UI and integrate it with this customer app right here. I mean, it'll probably be integrated with both, but right now, customer app. The customer, when they select some items to rent, hold on, let me try to bring it up again. Of course, this closes the app because of my poor architecture. I didn't know how to get back to the homepage. Um, where's the customer, right? Okay, so make a long story short, the customer, when they select like a rental item, they then can select the number of hours that they anticipate having that item, and then from there, that information gets stored on my system, and then I'll probably, and hopefully there's a alarm integrated API that my app can tap into on the courier's phone, where like within like maybe 20 minutes and then 10 minutes a reminder goes off on the phone to go to a location to pick up the equipment. Now, in the cases that it will happen that those people decide that either they're in a rush, they got somewhere to go and they can't wait, or like Miami is fraud city, they take my Bluetooth speakers that cost $500 a piece. Then for those rental items, there's a disclaimer that a specified amount of money that's probably like 50% more than what I actually paid for is going to be put on hold on their account. So on their debit card, if they rent the speaker Bluetooth system right here, that cost me $500 each, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they rent this for, let's say, I don't know, $35 an hour. I feel like that's a fair price. I would like to go higher, but I'm trying to do a lot of volume. Anyway, if they rent this and then they just take off when it's time to pick it back up, then whatever what is that? Then I'm taking $750 out of their account. Now there may be some policies, like they may have had a family emergency or something like that, and then I could have a policy where for each hour that goes by that I don't get this, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., then they're still renting it, and I'm still charging them probably for the next 6 hours. Oh no, I'm just thinking on the fly. But the end result is if they steal this, before they even get this, I already put a hold on their account for a dollar amount. Same thing when you're renting a car.
Yeah.
Like when you rent a car, they probably put a hold of probably $1,800 or $2,500 on your credit card. I'm a baller, so like I don't do credit cards, but I usually have like more than $3,000 on my debit card, right? And they'll just put a hold on it, and it's the same thing. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
But then the question is, well, what if they're just scam artists and they go ahead and agree to those terms, and then they call the bank and say that they don't recognize the transaction? Then how do I deal with that? And I'm sure the bank, because this is a high ticket item, that the bank is going to perform their due diligence and realize that based on the event store that I have, the location that they were at, their phone records, like how am I going to have all this information? And and it aligns with their phone records that AT&T has, I'm sure that they'll realize that they're trying to scam the system, and then they go to jail. That's what I hope would happen, because I'm logging everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this though, like, still kind of speaks to the fact that I think you need consistent people there working this type of a system. Like, what happens if there's no couriers available to pick up your boombox? I
Then
mean,
the order doesn't go through.
no, I mean, there's a courier to drop it off, but there's none to pick it up.
Oh, I have to do it. And
Yeah.
you say, what happens if you're not available because you're at the hospital or ER or something? Yeah,
Well, I
I
mean, yeah,
I
but
get
your
it.
time is money though too. You could pay someone minimum wage to go and run around and grab speakers off the beach.
Well, hey Roman, what is minimum wage? Is it $15 now? What's
Not
federal,
yet.
or is it
If
per
it
state?
once it goes to 15, it's going to kill a lot of businesses though. So there's
So
businesses barely making
th-
money.
this is the part where like I kind of get overwhelmed, because it's like, okay, so I hire quote unquote cheap labor, and there's a problem. They're cheap labor, and so how do I prevent them from stealing from me? Or you can't.
It's
You just have to.
insurance, man.
You just have
You're
to.
gonna have to have
Yeah, I
insurance
mean, I got
anyway.
insurance on these speakers.
Yeah.
Assurian, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. I just went ahead and paid the additional like $115 for I think it's a 3 year for each speaker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, you're never gonna, I mean, for sure, but I mean, there
Same
might be a
thing with
lot of
like
people that just want to hang out near the beach and but make money.
the other question is, how do I protect against side deals? And so that that cheap labor that I hire, um, the first order goes through, right? But
Mhm.
then the add-ons, they may realize, oh shoot, I want to get something else. How do I prevent, or can I even prevent, that employee or that worker that initially delivered to them? How do I prevent them from doing a side deal where they take cash without going through my app, and they go ahead and run their own business based off of mine, off of the customers that I acquire initially? Like, can you? I don't. That's where I get overwhelmed, and I go even more scatterbrained. Is like, how do I secure this so that I'm funneling money into my account without people taking advantage of me and what I've built?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think if you find someone like that, you promote them because if they're willing to be industrious enough to try to do something on their own, outside of it, they have ambition that other people don't.
Would they? Or I
I
mean,
don't. I think you.
you look at drug dealers, and you look at the mob and how they off people that do side deals, right? Like, people,
Yeah, this
they're
isn't
going to
that.
do it.
But this isn't that. I think you overestimate how ambitious people are. Like, people work at McDonald's and just, they toss burgers all day. It's not a
You said they're
bad
not.
work or anything, but there are honest people out there. I think you're worried about the exception when 90% of people are just going to operate exactly, or 99% of people are going to operate exactly as you expect them to. So they might be
which
slow, but
which then brings up the whole thing about levels of management. And so if uh, if I'm trying to make sure that I reduce the likelihood or minimize the amount of times that people do side deals on me, then it means that maybe as a result, I have in the app that the add-ons are discounted, right? And so, for example, the hookah thing over here, this hookah requires servicing, right?
mm,
Setup, they smoke. The hookah is not pulling as much anymore. They may ask for a refill. and pay the price for a refill. And so I think I actually have this in my slide deck somewhere. Can I do a? How do you spell hookah? I can't spell hookah. Uh, so maybe one model is like you have these tiered rentals where you can say, hey, if you do a bundle for this hookah, um, meaning that you can get this hookah and I'll reduce the price if you want a refill, right? I'll take some $5 off or whatever the difference is. And then, if you want 2 refills because you're going to be here maybe for like a couple hours, then you can buy this bundle. And then that kind of like removes that service provider or that worker from cutting a side deal of selling them a refill outside of the app.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just pre-sell the stuff up front.
Yeah. And I guess I would apply that when they want to order stuff. I can just, the more that they order, the more I take off a couple dollars. I don't know, like either that or I literally have someone periodically supervise all the different locations, all the different customer locations where they did rentals, and they just make sure that there's no stuff sitting on their stuff that they didn't go through this app for.
Yeah. You know what? Talking through this with you, what you're doing is thinking too much like an engineer, probably. And in that, I think what we tend to do is try to, at least good engineers try to do, is they try to think of, all of the possible things that could go wrong.
Edge cases, yeah.
Yeah. When really you should be focusing on the 80% of the stuff that's going to go right. And focusing in on that and keeping this as simple as possible, even though you know that it's more capable than that, because I think operating a business is totally different from engineering to run a business. So, you talk about like, well, what happens if they make side deals? Well, figure out when that happens, figure out why it happened and solve it then. And just let it happen.
I could strap a recorder onto some of the equipment without anybody knowing, and just at nighttime listen to all of it.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're probably not, like, if this is going to work, you're not going to go out of business because somebody does a side deal. That's not going to put you out of business. It's just going to make, your employee a little bit more, or your career a little bit more lucrative. But it's not going to, it wouldn't sink you if you've got the business going. But if you can get it proved that there's a market here and that you can fulfill it, and that it's successful, and then you figure out how to scale it, then now you're starting to talk about attracting people, because if there's a problem that's got a solution that can make money, you're going to get people in, and maybe you just cash out, let somebody else handle it at some point.
Yeah. Any other thoughts regarding scaling? Right now, this is just South Florida. But like, I'm like real talk. Like, I'm like 95% confident that this is going to work, as long as I probably have an ad campaign on Instagram, and I get restaurants that hug the beach. I give them flyers with QR codes that will do a deep link to their kitchen.
Yeah. If you get a van, you can just put a big decal on the side too.
Yeah. Well, the umbrellas should take care of that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think focusing in on, at least to get you started doing just the rentals or fixed items, and then going into restaurants after, is probably, whoever said that was probably dead on it, because you'll solve so many problems before you add in extra complexity of having to deal with somebody else being a source of inventory or a source of goods.
All right. Is there anything? What's going on with you?
Nothing, man. I'm just shooting the breeze. No, I've got. I think I'm working on my camper this weekend. I got to get it dewinterized, and we're talking about painting some of the inside of it and stuff. And then next weekend I'm camping, and then the next weekend after that's Memorial Day, and I'm going on a short trip to the Boundary Waters, hoping the flies aren't out or are minimal, but we'll see. So
I forgot to acknowledge Roman's comment. I like to approach things like automate the 80 to 90%, leave a manual escape for the rest.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's right though. It's like we think so much about edge cases, and all the business people tell us to stop.
On a completely different note, I interviewed with IBM slash Pepsi. I told you about this. How like initially they wanted me to take their assessment test. I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, okay, you don't have to take it. So I interviewed with them. I had my second interview. Roman, I hope you're listening, right? One of the interview questions was like, do you have experience with reactive extensions? And I responded, I do. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of it. Okay. That's how I responded. So I didn't get that job. And so what I'm tripping on is because then he followed up with, oh, we heavily rely on reactive extensions here. Right. And so the part that I'm tripping on is you asked me if I have experience. I tell in some like extremely specialized library or framework that 95% of people don't use, right? You ask me if I have experience. I tell you I do. I do have experience. And in my experience, I am not a fan of it, right? And so you ask me if I have experience, I tell you I do, and then I give you feedback on my experience, and you say, nope, you can't have this job then. Like, what the F? Why did you ask me if I had experience? What would you have hired me if I said, no, I don't have experience? Like, I have experience.
I don't
And
think it has anything. I don't think it has anything to do with you saying you have experience or not having experience. That was not the point. Although they'd probably have props for it. It's the fact that you didn't like. You're not being a fan of it. That's a. They don't want you to come in and be, unhappy with the job because you're dealing with reactive extensions. If I came into a Java shop and said, "Yeah, I could do Java, but I hate it," they're not going to hire me. Because I hate even if I've done Java and if I hate it, they're not going to hire me because I'm not going to be happy doing that work. I don't think reactive extensions. I haven't worked with it, but I get the concept and I like the concept. But
okay, yeah. So yes, it's IBM is doing a contract for Pepsi, Roman, and so I told them, I said I've used it, and at the shop that I was at, we were building an internal application, mobile application. It was nothing but CRUD. And the architect failed to articulate why reactive extensions or how reactive extensions would simplify or speed up development time. Failed to articulate it. He had no hands-on experience with it. He was just telling other people to use it. And I found that based on what reactive extensions is used for, which I thought was for throttling high volume data that's pushing into the application. We weren't throttling any data. So I think about like trading systems and like tens of thousands of, or even just thousands of historical events or pieces of data that is this fire hose through the application and being able to throttle that to produce a a good enough user experience to manage and filter. But we weren't doing that because we didn't have that particular case. And so that's what I said in the interview.
Yeah.
I said, and then I asked like, how are you guys using reactive extensions? Is it is the domain that you're working in dealing with high volumes of data in which you have to throttle it? So like I'm speaking from experience, right? He said, no, it's just we like it because it models functional programming. That's what he said.
He
That's what
probably
he
doesn't
said.
know.
That is what he said. That is what the person that was interviewing me said when I told him I have experience. I'm not a fan of it. And then I went into detail about my understanding of why it could be useful and how it was misapplied. So
Yeah.
like,
Maybe just talking to the wrong audience then. I don't know if it's a hiring manager. Sometimes they just don't have the technical prowess to understand even what they're talking about.
no, the dude
Some do.
was the guy interviewing me. I mean, he knew his stuff about mobile development. It was obvious when he was like drilling me, and I did well. There was probably like two questions I didn't know, but outside of that, like out of 20 questions, like I've answered like 18 of them. I think extremely well.
Hmm.
It's just we're all human. There's parts that we are really excited about that really don't justify why we're trying to use it. Like me in this restaurants feature, right? And we just use it just because of our emotional attachment. And
Yeah.
so it's just frustrating, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something like at my last job. Um, we had a group and uh, we didn't even really need a service, but we needed data available about like countries and stuff like that. Um, the simplest possible way to do it is plop a JSON document into a static store. Doesn't change very often. Not a lot of data there. Doesn't need to be dynamic. Like all you need is something parsable that things can get at.
I think I heard
That's what
this
we needed.
before.
Yeah, yeah. But the exciting thing was going to be we're going to set up this GraphQL endpoint with all of these like querying capabilities, and they spent like 2 weeks or 3 weeks trying to put this together. And it's like I understand your excitement about learning a new technology, but it's not solving the problem, and it's not even really a problem. Like just a static document somewhere. So that's all you need. Poof, you're done. Just do that. And I think that they ended up abandoning it and doing that anyways. And but it's like, yeah, we get excited about crap, and we shouldn't. We should just like try to look for simplest solutions sometime.
We should, but a lot of us, for political reasons, try to produce new experience on our resume so we could be more marketable.
Yeah,
Roman says, reminds me like when I interviewed on some blockchain company or for some blockchain company. The interview was a lot of fun. I really liked the interview, but me telling them that I was very skeptical of blockchain stuff certainly did not help. I didn't get the offer at the end. All right, so I'm not the only one going through it. Hopefully, Roman, you articulated why you were skeptical, and it was like reasonable. Your explanation. I don't think I'm meant to be an employee. I don't. Back in Ohio, yeah, because I was conditioned to be obedient to the system. But now it's like I feel like I'm too free spirited, man. I'm too much of like I think a free thinker, and
yeah.
I'm just older now, and so like there's just less I tolerate, and I just speak up more. I'm like the Samuel Jackson of software engineering, man. So
Yeah, well, we're all conditioned to be employees, though, from the time we're born, basically.
are
You
you
ever
the
read
Adam
that? You got to
Sandler?
read that. You got to read that book Unscripted I told you about. Talks all about the script and how it's set up.
I heard of developer hegemony, which I would like to read, but I don't think there's an audio version of it.
Yeah,
So unscripted.
Unscripted's it's by the guy who did the Millionaire Fast. It's a fun book, um,
Oh
but
yeah, I've been
it's an
I've been
audio
doing
book.
I've been doing all this and still trying to squeeze in a couple hours a day to do my taxes, which it's hard for me to context switch between these two because like I don't really require sleep trying to work on this like entrepreneur type thing, but my taxes, man, it's like it's like trying to comb through nappy hair. Like I just avoid it. So I guess you wouldn't know. You never had nappy hair. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done taxes in a long time because my wife's an accountant, so she just takes care of it now. And I haven't done it since. I haven't done it for like at least a decade or two, maybe 2 decades. No, it can't be 2 decades. Well, just about. Probably since I was like 18 or 19.
But you've always been W two.
Yeah.
You had no desire to be like 1099 and get that
No.
full check, that full
And then
like
divvy it up and give it to
10,000, fifteen
a bunch
thousand
of
dollar
people
check.
and then be like, all right, here, government and everyone else.
Oh
No.
yeah, at the end on like April 14th. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you have to pay quarterly if you make enough,
No,
though,
no,
don't
you
you? Or
don't.
you get
No, you don't.
penalized.
No, you don't. It's no. It's if you have a history of not being able to keep up with paying your taxes, then they probably put you on a program where they require you to pay quarterly.
Hmm.
But no, 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 no.
Just checking to see if Doge is up this morning.
Tesla is
Uh,
manipulating that whole ecosystem.
oh yeah, yeah, it's
I
messing
heard he dropped like he do people realize that they're worshiping Elon? Do they realize they're in a cult?
with
Because they literally follow whatever he says.
it moves the market.
Like I
So
heard Bitcoin dropped because he said that they were no longer going to accept Bitcoin for their Tesla cars, and I heard it dropped. And then he said something about Dogecoin, and it shoots up. I had AMC for like 2 months, and I kept on losing money. And I'm like, F it, I'm done. This squeeze ain't going to happen. So I get rid of it like like early last week. Yesterday it goes up like 25%. Like
Ugh.
I can't win. No matter what I do, the market goes the opposite direction. No matter what, I literally think God says, Scott, I'm gonna get some payback on you. And whatever I do, he literally like plays with me, right? So
You don't want to talk religion around.
yeah, God and Satan. Satan says, let me try to drive Scott crazy. I'm going to like whatever he throws money at. I'm going to make sure he loses at least 6% a day on whatever trade he just does. Literally in that one day, and they've been successful, man. For the past 2 weeks, I've literally lost and lost and lost. So I'm done. No more religion. No more forbidden fruit. God and the devil playing games with human lives. No more.
You just got to put it into Dogecoin now before it goes up to $1. You'll make
Did it go back up again? I thought it dropped from
it
like
dropped.
70 to like 60.
No, it dropped to like down to even almost like 40 cents again, but it's
Okay.
it's rebounding again. That's been the pattern is it goes up really high, dips, goes up, drops, slowly rises, up the so we'll see where it maxes out at, but I don't know, it still has steam behind it for whatever reason. So but
I have a feeling my kid is going to come through, and I'd like to not have the internet.
yeah, they were creeping around
Password.
the corner. So
Really? I didn't even
yeah,
see it.
just a little bit, not a lot. I'm like, oh, Scott's not gonna want people to see. So
That annoys me. Why do they do that? All
that's
right.
all
Well,
good.
I'm taking off. So see
Yep.
ya.
Yep. See you. Bye.
Bye. I have to delete this whole video. I have to delete this whole video now. All right. See you, Roman. Take care. Bye.